What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. SoFi had a pretty nice reversal all the way up to $7.62. I want to go over some of the current data points and latest updates associated to the company. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that said, let's get right to it. So SoFi did go up 1.79%. After hours is going up a little bit, so 0.54%. As far as volume, huge. 130.76 million shares were traded. 65.6 is the average. And these are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So a lot of transactions, 1.39 million, 7.69 million. And then aside from that, you do have another big one first thing, and that was 8.9. Based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price, anything that does show a ask is essentially a buy. So most of the transactions being done today were buys. So that's kind of a good thing. Nice change of events when it comes down to SoFi. Today there was no news, no SEC filings. There was a analyst rating that did come out yesterday. In fact, I guess two. One was our favorite analyst, and that was David with Wedbush, did give a sell rating and a $3 price target. So I found it very interesting, the fact that they decide to do a rating, or I guess a reiteration of his previous rating on a very significant sell-off. And then over and above that, you do have Michael with KBW, who has a 59% success rating, also similarly piggybacking off of the negative momentum. It does show David's came out today, but in fact it was yesterday, same with KBW's. But Michael did give a 650 rating, so that's kind of a positive out of anything. Shorts did return 1.04 million shares. 17.41% of the free float is being shorted. 157.99 million shares overall are being shorted, and cost of borrow average is 0.91%. And looking at the intraday on what basically happened, they immediately dumped a lot of shares and then kind of just coasted throughout the trading day. So they did really kind of cause this uptrend right here. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So shorts really kicked off this good momentum all the way up to, like I mentioned, $7.62. As far as this, so you do see about $17 million in calls being purchased today, 5.88 million in puts, and sentiment wise, 52% of all the options being done today were optimistic. Latest round of 13Fs have been coming down the pipeline still, so you see Goldman Sachs and still Vanguard. So aside from that, nothing really new coming from that. And then go quickly back over to the options. Of the call options that were purchased today, you do see a consensus for it to be above 750, and then looking at puts around $7. So the risk versus reward isn't necessarily there. Clearly people are anticipating a little bit more downside. And just to give you a good overview of the open interest, so roughly around $8.50 and $9 are this week's kind of resistance brought on by options. But I feel like right now talking on $8.50 by the end of this week, it's kind of far-fetched. You might see a little bit more of a further push higher, but I don't think it's going to get anywhere close to $8.50 this week. But then again, I hope I'm very much wrong about that. In reality, I did do some options today. I normally do weekly options, typically on Mondays, in fact, but over the last 2 weeks, just due to the volatility, I didn't actually do anything with SoFi. I've been more focused on some other stocks, but because of today's optimism, I did sell some puts, 750. So kind of bullish. I do feel that it's going to close above 750 by the end of this week. Not enough again to get above this 850, but still I'll be able to collect some good premiums. And aside from that, if it does close below 750, then I'll just buy it. So kind of a win-win in my opinion. Looking right here, so with it closing at $7.40, it is between this S1 and the pivot. So it did have a low of 705, so it bounced generally off of this S2 area. And then aside from that, 762 was the highs, so it kind of was just briefly above this pivot point of 757. So we do know at least these 2 points are very strong support and resistance points going into the next couple of days. And then aside from that, looking here, so you do see it still lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, very strong deviation, so bearishness, red line above the white. And plus over today, you did see number of retail investors were getting out. So it looks like big money was kind of the ones that was really keeping it up today, and shorts as well were returning some shares, which added some buying pressure. So all in all, I do feel SoFi might be continuing its momentum and its trend up. The data that did come out today wasn't necessarily the best. Powell's speech today was kind of random, not necessarily correlated with stocks. Of course, there were some of the typical questions talking on recessions, but I feel like there was just a lot of abnormal questions And I don't know, he answered them fairly well, but aside from that, ADP non-farm employment did come out first thing, and it was a little bit lower than the forecast, so 140 versus 149, which was again the forecast. But all in all, the market did open today just wanting to propel higher, so a lot of value rallies and whatever else. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Did you buy over the last couple of days? Did you sell? And what is your thoughts on shorts returning 1.04 million shares? Do you think it is going to trend back down to around 15? Oddly enough, despite everything, especially with a lot of the volatility, I still see a lot of chatter about SoFi being a short squeeze play. I still don't understand that. So are you one of those individuals that do believe that SoFi is going to be a short squeeze play? And if so, why? So throw that in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And one final thing, if you do like my channel and want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.